All right, well, we're back in Kansas and we're gonna do some more coyote hunting. Always, every couple days or every time I travel anywhere, I like to check my rifle. My gun was going great last week. I nailed a bunch of coyotes here, but I'm gonna shoot it in again. I always like to shoot the small water bottles to check it in. So we're gonna take a few shots. As always, I'm shooting the Hornady, but I'm shooting the 22-250 in this TC Venture, and I'm shooting the 50 grain. And again, what's cool is they've got your ballistics listed right here on the back of the box. So I went ahead and sighted this on. So I am dead on at 200. That's gonna put me 5 inches low at 3. And then you can see all the way out to 4, I'm gonna be 15.2 inches low. But I set it up for usually a dead on 100-yard zero. And that's what this is. And then it drops back in to be zeroed at 200. So we're gonna set this bottle out at 100 yards. Like always, I like to shoot with exactly what I'm gonna be shooting with. So I'm gonna shoot it off my bog pod here and see how it goes. Hopefully I can see that from 100 yards. If I can blow that up, say I'm ready for the coyotes. Well, on our very first set that evening, we've got all the guys spread out watching different stuff, and I decided, you know what? Let's just cover a tiny little strip. Let's give these guys a chance to shoot a dog. I'm gonna watch this tiny little 50-yard strip on kind of the downwind side, just in case something pops out there. Wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden I'm like, coyote, and he's coming right in. Right here, Jake. This dog's coming in, and I've got to take the shot. He's obviously not gonna stop. He's either seen us, or since he's circling around the downwind side, he may have got our scent, but he's starting to go. I can tell he's starting to kind of do that little roundabout. I'm heading back where I came from. I shoot him on the run. I make a good shot in the chest. He's spinning around. Billy gives him one more, and he is down. So already, we've got our first coyote on the ground on our first set, the first evening of our hunt. That was awesome. I mean, it was just a quick shot, and that's where when you've got multiple guys, if you can set up, I tell you, I'd hate to know how many coyotes I've lost over the years hunting by myself that have slipped in around behind you, because he was starting to take off. If I literally hadn't been looking right there, he would have come in and gone out. We'd have never even known he was there. Exactly. That was a cool one, because you had just looked over and my tripod had fallen over. Yeah. So I was like, well, you know, I didn't want to make a whole bunch of noise, so I just kind of, well, I'll just hold it here. And like Billy said at the last minute, I said, well, I'll just cover this little quick short shot here, thinking that one of you guys would get the shot in the wide open, exactly. You know? And all of a sudden I saw him just pop out of this draw coming right at us. And as soon as I said something, I saw you look over there, and I was like, oh, if he just slows down, bam, hot dog. Hey, I'm Fred Eichler. You're watching Predator Nation. We're here in Kansas, hunting with my buddies Billy, Keith, and Devin, and we are having a blast. That's a good way to start this week, huh?
Heck yeah.
That's
right. Great. Can't beat it, buddy.
That's awesome. Just put the call over there. The sun's just starting to come up. We're hoping that they either come from this side, this thick brush over here, behind us. Let's watch him with the dogs. Let's watch him with the dogs. I can't believe I missed. I should have taken the 2 easy shots. That coyote stopped twice. He gave me 2 good shots. The first one, you can probably even hear Jake goes, take him. But I thought, no, I'm gonna wait and watch the coyote interact with the dogs. That's gonna be awesome. And the coyote started to take off, and he stopped again. And I didn't take him that time either. I thought, well, he'll start interacting with the dogs. And then the coyote didn't want to fight the dogs. It took off and started taking off across the field. And I tried to run and shot out there, probably 200, 240, something like that, and missed him clean. And that's just the way it goes. We'll sit here for another minute and Jake. Got another one coming, same spot. If he stops, I'm gonna take him. Man, that's why you don't give up. That was awesome. We had that first coyote came in, and man, I was apologizing to everybody. I was, Jake Jake told me to take him. You can probably hear it on the camera. You know, the coyote saw the dogs and you could see it kind of, so I passed up the easy shot. He ran out there, trotted, and stopped again. And I thought, no, I'm gonna wait a minute and see if he'll interact and start chasing the dogs. Then the coyote started taking off and I took a pretty tough, about 200-yard running shot and missed him. I have no idea where I hit. And I was kind of bummed and, you know, man, I'm sorry guys, you know, I probably should have shot the easy shot. And we kept calling, kept the puppy in distress calling. And then all of a sudden we spotted another coyote way out there coming in. And I shot him at probably, I don't know, 150 yards or so. And it was straight on, kind of a tough shot. You've got just a little angle. But I felt steady on the bog pot here and smoked him. Well, we're burning them up. Got 2 more down here in Kansas.
Oh, that's a good start.
Yeah, it is, I'd say.
Let's go hit another couple.
All right,
Stand up.
sounds great. Well, what was really fun is when you're hunting coyotes, everybody wants to go and check it out. Devin, the local guy from Northeast Kansas, has his good hunting buddy, and his name's Logan. These guys are like 2 peas in a pod. They both love the outdoors, both love to hunt, raised up in the country, and we couldn't wait to take these 2 kids hunting. We set them up off the side of the ridge. Keith is on one end, me and Billy are right here on the top of this ridge, and we start calling. All of a sudden we hear the guys kind of whispering back and forth, and we hear pow! Then we hear pow! And then I think we even heard another shot. Those guys are having a blast. And the stories, of course we got to razz them a little bit, but the stories were great, you know. Logan's like, Devin had a shot right there and he missed it. And then I had a shot right here and my safety was on and my scope was turned up too high. And I mean, the same mistakes we always make. It was great and those kids were having an absolute blast.
With the first one, he was dead sprint and he went right beside the trees. And then I lost him until he was right there. It took him no time at all.
I bet he was fast.
He was fast.
Oh, we're having a blast. We called in a couple dogs this evening. It's about to get dark, so we're done today. We're gonna be back after them again tomorrow. Good try, guys.
Yeah, good job. Look at that. We could put
At this next setup, we slipped in there with Logan, Devin, me, Billy, Keith, and Jake, who's running the camera. We're set up calling this big bottom. Well, almost instantly we get a coyote that starts barking back and forth with the dog. And I look and I see a coyote bounding through the grass coming right at Keith and Devin. Well, I start to swing, but I see it's coming right up to those guys. And poor Devin shoots again and misses. He was on 10 power, had the coyote at like 20 yards, and it was great listening to him go, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. But all I saw was air. I was up on 10 power, and I couldn't even give him too hard of a time because I've done it myself a lot.
It happens, you know. I can't believe I missed twice in a row. It's hard to believe, you know. But.
Well, here's where you want to keep calling. We didn't give up. We had Freebie, one of the White Mountain curs of Keith's out there circling around. We knew we still had the dog as a decoy. We left the call going, and all of a sudden we hear that dog start barking up on the hill. We know it's a dominant male. It's got to be his country because he is really tearing it up over there. I take my rangefinder and I decide I'm going to range some of those far fields up on the far corner, and I start ranging some areas. And I'm getting 365, 380 yards to the top of this ridge over near this field. Well, sure enough, all of a sudden I spot the coyote trotting across the field. I say to Jake, I've got the range. I'm shooting the 22-250, this Thompson Center. It's an accurate shooting rifle. I'm gonna take this long shot. Normally I wouldn't take a shot that far, but it's a coyote in Kansas and they want them all gone. So if I can get this coyote out of there, I'm gonna try and do it. Well, I get on the coyote, I lift up a little bit high, so I think I've got the drop compensated, and I touch off around. We all hear a whop, and you can see the coyote jump, and we know he's hit, but we're not sure where. Me and Billy go up there, start circling around. Billy spots some blood, and we bring Freebie over there. And that dog did an amazing job of trailing up a coyote that we probably wouldn't have recovered if it wasn't for having the dog there. The dog chased that coyote almost a mile before baying it up. We slipped up into some thick brush, and Billy put the Coupe de Gracie on him, and we had another coyote down in Kansas.
Good job! Good job! Dog did an awesome job. You could hear him barking, kept baying that coyote up in this thick brush. So Devin got a shot at about 25 yards. Coyote took off and Billy was set up. I saw you move over to the fence because you and me were both thinking the same thing. He's gonna show up way out there.
Exactly.
And that dog came out and I ranged him. We had him at 365 yards and I know what my Thompson Center's shooting. So So I'm like, I've got to lift it high, and you know, it's really tough trying to gauge, you know what I mean, a drop like that far. Well, I shot, I ended up hitting the coyote low, and you know, it wasn't a great shot. We knew we hit the coyote. Billy went up there, and we were circling and found blood, and we said, let's put freebie on it. And that mountain cur Keith did an awesome job. It trailed this coyote a long ways.
Yeah.
I mean, a long ways. And I mean,
close to a mile. We put him on it, and he took down, and we didn't know nothing. You know, that collar that he's got on him showed us where he was.
Oh yeah.
Showed him bait up.
That GPS collar made a big difference too.
We heard him. You bet. We heard him in there bait up. Hi, Fred.
What's the plan, buddy?
Well, this is it. Down on this far corner down here, we got about 5 acres. It's not corn. This corn looks way too tall, but this is a great whitetail spot. I got a really good stand down here, ate up with coyotes. I watched the coyotes chase 3 does last fall right out across the thing. Shot one with my bow out of there. We're ate up with them. You know, Wayne that owns this right here is there's too many of them, you know, and we're gonna try and cut them down, try and manage them a little bit. So
we've been doing good so far.
Yeah, let's go see if we can get a couple more.
Well, as we're going through there, we're walking through corn that's almost waist high. And I'm thinking, man, we are not gonna see a coyote coming in here. We hike quite a ways over this little ridge and come to this little tiny, probably 2-acre open area. And we're thinking, man, with rifles, this is gonna be tight, but let's give it a whirl. Keith sets up on the downwind side. Billy goes over to the right and sets up. And because of the brush, we decided to all stand. I extended my bog pot all the way up so I could be on a solid platform from a standing position. I set the call out in front of us and turned it on, and almost instantly a coyote breaks out of the brush. Whoop! Whoop! Well, I'm on it, and I know that both Keith and Billy can shoot this dog, but they're waiting for me. And I'm waiting for this coyote to get closer to the call and see if it'll interact. Well, you can see the dog pop up, and it sees the coyote as well. This coyote comes right up to the call. I whoop at it twice trying to stop it. And just as it gets up to the call, it kind of hackles up and stops. I shoot, and that Hornady 22-250 drops him on the spot. Well, the dog's over worrying that coyote on the ground. He's excited we got another one too. And I'm like, well, we probably should just leave the call going. So we leave the call going, and we're sitting there set up, and the call's blared away, and all of a sudden Jake goes, to the right, to the right. I look over, and I see this big coyote looking. All I can see is his head and neck looking at us through the brush. He disappears in a little ditch, comes up a little closer by a big tree, and stops and looks. Well, by that time, I've got the crosshairs on him, I shoot, and we got a double down in Kansas. Holy cow, great spot, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. This first dog came barreling out of there, and I spotted that one. I said, Jake, Jake. And I kept whooping to stop him. I shot him 20 yards from the call. Let's walk up to him. Look at the calls right here. I got the Fox Pro call. Again, that's where I think it's key, getting it up above the ground. I stuck it on this little cedar right here, and man, that couldn't have worked out any better at all. Another big dog here in Kansas. Look at that dog. Ugh. Good dog, good dog, good dog. Man, that's awesome. Good call, buddy. Good call. Guys, this has been a heck of a day.
It has.
3 dogs today. I know you're holding the dogs. They were awesome. I mean, they were locked onto that coyote as it came bounding out. We walked in here quite a ways through the cornfield, and I gotta be honest, I was kind of looking at Billy like, man, this corn is up to our waist, buddy. I don't know if we're gonna see a dog coming in. He's like, oh, there's a spot in here, there's a spot. Yep. Pretty awesome hunting here in Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas is great.
Oh yeah, they got too many of these coyotes. I mean, you can see just by the numbers that we've seen and been calling in. I mean, that's 10 coyotes, and we've seen a lot more than that. You know, it's been incredible. Last week we did great, and this week we've done great.
You've done awesome. You've done well.
Thanks, buddy.
You bet.
Well, I'm Fred Eichler. I'm hunting with my buddy Billy. I'm hunting with Keith. He brought his mountain curs, and we're having a blast.